hello there, and welcome back to Joygasm, where we chat about video games, movies, and pop culture. I'm Russ, Xbox Live Toaster 360. You know it, he is Steve, Xbox Live, Stevavitch. And we survive the Forsaken Shores in episode 90 today, October 5th, 2018. To get the most out of Joygasm, you want to make sure you follow us on your social media of choice on YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. In addition to iTunes and Android, you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and SoundCloud.com/JoygasmTV. Also, for exclusive and early access, check us out at Patreon.com/Joygasm. Today, we're going to be, as you probably put two and two together, we're going to be focusing the topic of the day on the Sea of Thieves, the latest DLC drop, which is the Forsaken Shores. But first things first, Steve, haven't seen you in a spell. How you doing?
Russ, do you want to know how I'm doing, or you just want to go right to what I've been playing and watching? That's what I want to ask you, huh?
Steve, I would like to know the Cliff Notes version. I don't want to know the Dear Diary version. I suppose before you start that, though, I do offer the listeners an apology because I believe for the very first time last week we actually did not drop a Joygasm podcast episode because I was deathly ill, and also Steve just really for some oddball reason didn't want to come over and try and test the fate of possibly getting infected.
The risk is less now, but still very prevalent, Russ. Especially when I walk in the door, you're like, oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, I'm going to breathe all that in. Yeah, just keep on.
That's what we do here, Steve.
Wafting it out. And I
keep it in the family.
Wad of used tissues still over here.
I will have you know, actually, that is the current wad of tissues I forgot to clean up. I actually went around today with one of those little white plastic Glad bags. And I was able to clean up most of the Kleenex. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, I thought there was more. And now that you astutely pointed that out, I see the error of my ways.
Took me all of 2 seconds to see it, Russ.
But no, a sincere apology to all of you out there just because we did not entertain you last week. And yeah, but we are back and we're happy to continue where we left off.
We're back and ready to attack.
Ooh.
The Forsaken Shores.
So, Steve.
What?
You know, I have been able to keep tabs on you here and there.
No, you haven't, Russ. That sounded so nasally and gross.
Didn't it, though?
Oh, man.
It's the aftermath.
I don't want to be here anymore.
That's what we call no man's land.
I'm expecting like you to hawk up a loogie or like...
Don't tempt me.
Go.
Like, these little like I don't know what they are. The little grates that are in front of the microphone. They serve two purposes. One is to take away kind of the hissing and popping noises. The other ones is actually it's almost like a sneeze guard.
I'm trying to hide behind mine.
You ain't gonna be able to hide from me, boy.
Ever since I saw the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, it's being around people that are sick is never the same.
I concur.
Yes. Well, Russ, if you will, concur from our last episode.
That was a juicy episode, I must say. We had a lot to talk about.
We sure did.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2 hours and 7 minutes of goodness. Which, I mean, in a weird way, I'm glad that we did that because hopefully that held the good folks over by the 1 week that we were absent.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, where was I? Oh, yeah. So if you remember, Russ.
I can't remember a thing, Steve.
Yeah, I know you got it all snot in there. Well, I'll tell you. You had my my Netflix movies.
Yes.
And you have more of my Netflix movies.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Well, the ones that you had for me last time, I was able to watch in this week. And they were American Assassin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's with your boy, Michael Keaton. Your BOI.
And how was it?
It was actually fairly good, Russ.
It can't go wrong with Michael Keaton in my book.
It was funny. I mean, it said CBS Films, and I was like,
I've seen that occasionally.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it occasionally too. Just not
It's
enough
like
to
Fox
really,
Searchlight Films, that sort of thing.
something like that, Russ. I don't know.
Something like that, Steve.
But then I rented, as viewers, soon to be viewers, will know from episode 24 when we reviewed Spider-Man, I was going to watch it again.
Technically, we gave our impressions of it. We didn't actually do a review, which you bring up a good point too, Steve. I would like to be able to do a review of Spider-Man, spoiler version.
No. Episode 24, Russ. I'm not talking about PS4 Spider-Man. I'm talking about Spider-Man Homecoming.
I'm terribly sorry.
Which we did rate.
We did rate and review.
So I watched that again.
Tom Holland.
And just as good, if not better, the second time around. Actually, I would say it was better the second time around.
That is a great film. I cannot wait for the sequel.
You know, the spider webs, if you go back in and you watch where he sprains little spider webs, what's kind of cool is that this is in the background, but you can see the spider webs just kind of like floating back down to where they're going. They don't go away, or they just don't disappear like, I don't know.
They have actually done a better job doing that, not only in the film, but also in the game. In the game, it does the same thing.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool.
I'm going to sneeze.
So gross. Don't just like hold your hand in front of your mouth. You got to like
it was
cover
my arm.
Yeah, even worse. Yeah, right.
Sneezed into the pocket that is the opposite side of where my elbow resides.
Foot away from your mouth. Ugh, such a germaphobe, especially around your ass. Golly. Yeah, you Steve, come on, you're not going to get sick. I'm not going to get sick. No, yeah, you just got sick,
Don't worry about it, Steve. You're going to be fine. Really.
That's what you said before you got sick.
Hey, you didn't get sick, did you?
Yeah, because I wasn't here. Man, I can't even think straight anymore. Anyway, it's happening already. So anyhow. Shit goes see Spider-Man a second time. I got it out, but I do love Michael Keaton in there. I saw 2 movies this week. Since the last episode with Michael Keaton.
Indeed, you did.
MK, not to be confused with MJ. So, anyhow, yeah, no, a lot of things to love about the movie, and I still concur with everything I said before. I'm actually really close to upping my rating, actually, to be honest. But that's neither here nor there.
I see.
But so yeah, check out if you haven't seen Spider-Man twice. If you only see it once, do it. Get it a little do-over there. See American Assassin. That's a pretty good little action flick. That was enjoyable. I like that one. And that's kind of obviously action. It's a romance. So let's see what else. Oh, I borrowed from Netflix Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, such a good movie.
Such a good movie. That movie held my attention the whole way through.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I want to watch that again. One of my favorite companies that produces art prints by the name of Bottleneck Gallery.
Oh, yes.
Currently, as we're recording this, the New York Comic Con is going on, and of course they are representing there, and they actually dropped some really sweet Blade Runner prints just today. Actually, well, technically they dropped them I think yesterday to the crowd there, but they had some left over that they dropped to the online community. I was late in looking at my email, therefore I was not able to pounce upon and obtain said print, which is unfortunate because it's pretty sweet. It's done by Gabs, which is just a very talented artist.
Indeed, they are.
You would have liked it. I think you would have.
I would have. Yeah, there are definitely some talented artists out there, Russ. Oh, before I continue, one thing that I have to mention. Back when we were reviewing Spider-Man Homecoming, episode 24.
Was it that long ago?
It was that long ago, Russ.
24. Wow.
Time goes by,
24. Are you sure it was 24? Or was it 42?
I don't think I'm dyslexic, but I'm not that dyslexic.
Did you have a temporary episode of dyslexia? That was a long time ago.
I'll confirm. Okay, I know you don't believe me. I'll confirm it on.
I didn't say I didn't believe you. I'm marveling over here.
Point being, in that episode, within the hour mark, I had to go back and listen to it because I know I said it, and I did. There's the high school gym scene where Peter Parker's doing his sit-ups and his buddy's holding his feet down. He's like, hey, so is Cap cool or just got an old man? He's asking all his questions. There's a scene where these high school girls near Liz were all just kind of gossiping around there, whatever, talking about the Avengers. And this girl says what I thought she said, which is, I want to F Thor and I want to marry Tony Stark, and I want to kill whatever the Hulk. And I was like, she didn't just say that. I mean, this is like high school. Like, they're sophomores, whatever. Like, she didn't say. Dude, I put the subtitles on when I watched it. She said that.
Well, Steve, there are certain people with potty mouths in high school.
I guess.
They go far beyond and before high school as well. Yeah. I remember the first time in my early career in elementary school, the first time I ever heard a cuss word was second grade.
I think mine was like fourth.
I had a couple of potty mouths in that class, and they were proud of it.
Slip, rip, a ding, dong, slap, rap, a sing, schmaga. What? Wash that kid's mouth out with soap.
What else is going on with you, Steve?
Well, I guess lastly, but not finally.
Yeah, hopefully not.
I broke one of my rules, Russ.
I broke my leg.
I broke my rule, and we'll see how that goes.
I broke my squiggly spooge.
So usually, and I've recommended this for quite a few of our listeners, they don't update their iOS until the bugs have been kind of ironed out.
I do know, indeed.
Yeah, I've said it quite a few times. And the reason for that is because obviously the new iOS is made for the latest and greatest phone with that in mind. So all the other devices, they have to really work out the bugs. And they make the operating system work with quite a few different phones, of course. Russ. So to save the trouble and the heartache and whatever, that kind of, this doesn't work now. Oh, now my phone's crashing. You just can hold off for a minute. Let the patches come out and then update if you so choose. Well, I still had iOS 9, so 10 and 11 were crap. They were crap.
I think I had 9 as well.
You upgraded to 10.
I did?
I don't know if you upgraded to 11, but you definitely upgraded to 10. Yes, you did.
Take a little look right now. Well, my 6 blessing.
That's right. I want to take a peek at that there, Russ. So, I finally updated, and I was having a struggle because my computer would not get the latest version of iTunes, and I had to use iTunes to update my phone. So I had to go to the local...
You are correct. It's 10.3.1.
Thank you very much. See, I know your phone better than you. So anyway, I got help with it, got it updated this afternoon, and so far so good. I got 4 gigs of memory back.
4 gigs? Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. So... we'll see how long this lasts me. I think I'll probably still have to buy something relatively near future, but for now, it's good.
Excellente.
Yes. Yes.
See, you're already infected.
Man, I guess finally I downloaded I know Forza Horizon 4 was coming out, but pre its release, I downloaded the demo and played it. And I'm going to hold off my judgment until I actually play the game.
I see.
Extensively. From what I can tell, though, they've boosted the sound effects a little bit more. Like they give the baseline, internal combustion engine, a little more bass, a little more pep, which is nice. That's what I wanted. It sounded a little flat before, and I've mentioned that a couple times. And you can tell some of the lighting is different, some of the shading, So we'll see how that goes. I got to pick it up maybe tomorrow. Play it through.
Sounds nice, Steve.
Indeed. What about you?
Well, I've had a number of things happen I've been actually looking forward to telling you about. For one, I am
the Cliff Notes, Russ. Just the Cliff Notes.
For one thing, I'm no longer sick. Yeah, I have the remnants of the sickness. But feels good to be on the other side of that equation.
You're on the clean out phase.
I am. Yes, absolutely. I actually got the Platinum Trophy playing Spider-Man on PS4. I believe it's the first Platinum Trophy I have ever received on a PlayStation system.
Did you feel proud of yourself?
I did. I felt accomplished. Yeah, the game itself, I highly recommend. I think it is a swell title. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that they have been able to really capture the essence of Peter Parker and the world of Spider-Man.
Peter. I
really like the creative decisions that they made in there. My hat goes off to Insomniac Games for just an excellent game. And it makes me look forward to seeing what they're going to do for the sequels. You know they're going to come out with a sequel based off of the success of the title, Steve. But no, it was actually very memorable. Love the story. Loved what they did with the characters, the graphics engine. I was really impressed with how they just recreated Manhattan. You know, you're swinging through these different districts. You have the boroughs there. You have Harlem. You have the financial district. I was able to see Freedom Tower, which, as you may or may not know, Steve, that is where the World Trade Center towers used to be. Now it's called Freedom Tower. But no, overall, just everything that they did, it was definitely a love letter to the character, and it makes me excited because it no longer is exclusive to just the Batman titles that Rocksteady Studios has done, but now we have just a AAA quality Spider-Man title, and it makes me look forward to seeing what other kind of superhero titles have come out, or will come out, I should say, in the future, just because in the past, most of the superhero titles have been kind of subpar, kind of forgettable. They lack that epic feel. Right, yeah. So I'm happy about that, Steve. I was also continuing my playthrough of the Destiny 2 DLC Forsaken on Xbox One.
That seems to be the word of the week.
It does indeed. And I'm happy to tell you that this is the DLC that Bungie should have done when they first released Destiny 2. It is... I feel as though it's reminding me more of the Destiny of old, which is a very good thing. Just in terms of how they have more purpose to the story, to what you're doing, the new worlds that you're going to and going on your adventures with and stuff. And everything just feels very inspired, you could tell that the developers were very excited when they were working on this and they wanted to really right a wrong. So at some point, I think it might be a good idea for you to be able to get that, Steve, and be able to give it a go. But also, I received my Apple Watch.
Yay for you.
So I'm very happy. Thank you. I really like it. It's interesting because obviously it's not like the iPhone in terms of the screen real estate. But I do like it for a few main reasons. One of them is actually the health side of things. And this is what we talked about during our impressions of the Apple conference. I actually really do enjoy the little health technology and apps that they have included with the phone. It actually has spurred me on to just be more aware of how long I've been sitting, stand up, go do some walking, exercise, that sort of thing.
You going to come to the gym with me now?
I just might, Steve. I just might.
Well, just might, or
I was thinking about actually talking to you about that after the program.
I'm getting out of here after the program, Russ. I'm making a beeline.
I'm going to hug you. Well, I guess he left me.
Wake the neighbors, why don't you?
Yeah. So, but the other things that I like, I also really like how they've implemented like just the video features. Like when you flick your wrist, you have some fun features.
I want to see the water effect.
I just showed you. Like there's one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it goes one.
Okay.
Here's another one. Pretty slick.
Do it again.
For crying out loud, dude.
That's only 2 effects.
Well, it's like a randomizer, Steve. I'm going to hold my arm out here during the entire podcast. But anyway, the cool thing is that you have multiple faces, just like the program, where like you have the flames, you have the water, you have the fog, and they have other ones too, like the jellyfish. They have this like underwater one that's actually really like calming. Every time you flick it on, you're like, whoa, that's nice.
Oh, that's nice.
The other thing that I really like is that they have Toy Story. And so they have a bunch of the Toy Story characters like Woody and Buzz and Rex and Jesse, there's a bunch of them that are in there. And so every time you flick your wrist, you'll see them doing like they have a ton of different types of random animations in there, but it's just fun. It just adds personality and you can customize the watch face as to how you like it to be. So that's a lot of fun. Also too, there are certain basic things, like they have a really basic app where it says, oh, it's time for you to do like a breathing thing, which to me at first sounded kind of silly, but like it has like this animation and it's like kind of training you to just have times during the day where you just take in nice deep breaths and breathe slowly and stuff. And actually it will show you your beats per minute before and after, which is really nice because it actually does work when you take time out to just kind of focus on breathing. And it cause you to kind of just forget about the stress of the day.
You know, they've done a study. They is, and I read something once somewhere, but what the heck? So there was a study done where they were doing an experiment on cigarette smokers. And they found that the people who smoke, after they had smoked a cigarette and then continued their day, gone back to work, gone back to class, whatever, had the same effect as if people just took a minute to take some breaths, some long breaths. Inhale, exhale, very slowly. It's the same effect. And so when you think about it, I've had plenty of friends who smoke, and they say, "Oh, I just need a cigarette," and they'll smoke the cigarette, and
right.
They go back in like, "Okay, I'm ready." Like, and then the same people, that's what they do. And then the same people who just go out and take a little minute, take a breather. Same effect.
Interesting.
Give your brain a little bit of oxygen, and your heart pumps out a little bit more blood and calms down a little bit. There you go.
One of the nicest things about the watch is also just the notifications, which I didn't think I would like as much as I do. But what I've found is that when I had just my phone, I would just be constantly picking it up and putting it down, picking it up and putting it down. A lot of it has to do with the notifications. Right. So if you get a text or you get, I don't know, something from Instagram or an email or whatever, it's like every time that thing pings or vibrates or whatever, you want to look at it and see what it is. Well, what's nice about the watch is that if you get the cellular package or whatever, basically it enables it so that it can do a lot of what your phone does. What's really nice about that is now, whenever I get those notifications, they just come up on my watch. I'm able to just at a glance see what it is. So like, you texting me today, for instance, I was able to look at my watch and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And what's nice about that is that it doesn't force me to have to try and pull my phone out and take a look at it. And so therefore it's just I can look at it, make a quick decision on or a response or whatever, and then continue on doing what it is that I'm doing. And I found that is a large part of my daily interaction with my iPhone. There are times when I use it to make a call, of course, or if I'm surfing the social media or the web. But I would say like probably a good like 40% of my usage on the phone is based around just seeing what the notification is. Is it a text message versus an Instagram post or whatever it is, a stock article or whatever. And that's just what's really great about the watch is you just look at it. Okay, cool. The other thing that works out really well is making phone calls. Like when I called you today, I called you from my watch. And what's really cool about that is I can hear you just fine. And then as I'm driving, I have my hands on the steering wheel. And so far, everyone I've talked to on my watch, they can hear me just fine. It's not a bad experience.
Sounds like you're on speakerphone. I
figured it would probably be something like that just because my mouth is like, 2 feet away from where I'm at. Or if it's down by there are times I'll be walking and my wrist obviously will be next to my hip. So it's like 3 feet away from my mouth.
You know what you could be for Halloween?
What's that, Steve?
Dick Tracy.
Don't think I won't do it, Steve. Anyway, very happy I got the purchase. I'm still learning all the ins and outs of it, but it is a lot of fun. And I'm glad that I waited too. I feel like the Series 4 is exactly like the right time for me personally to be able to get involved with it. I've been picking people's brains who were the early adopters to the Apple Watch just to kind of find out what other kind of fun little things you could do with it. But anyway, played some Sea of Thieves this week. We're going to get into that later. Continued playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm in Cozumel, Mexico. The game is beautiful.
I bet it is.
Steve, the last 2 Tomb Raider games have been very beautiful in their own right. But for some reason, Crystal Dynamics has been able to squeeze even more goodness out of it, which is saying a lot considering I do not have an Xbox One X. I do not have a 4K TV.
It's Christmas, Russ. I don't know.
Steve,
Santa might be a little more jolly.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Steve.
I bet I can find something in this sack. Nope, I can't. I'm out here.
Well, I'm here to tell you that just based off of that alone, the game is just... And again, I've barely scratched the surface of it, but I mean, I know you're not a big bow and arrow guy.
Tell me all about it, Russ.
But I'm telling you, Steve, you need to, at the very least, be able to have some bro time with me. Have some bro time with your brodo. I want you to sit down on the couch and just drink in some of the visuals because they've done a fantastic job on the graphics of this game.
I had an idea. I have an idea, Russ. It's similar to Twitch, but if Xbox Live were to allow you like other players to watch and communicate like party chat, the same game. So like I'm sitting there and I'm watching you play and I'd be like, oh, Russ, look out to your left. There's a bear coming for you. You know, something like that. I could watch the same game and totally give you my idea and tell you what's happening and what I see and what you see. And you know, there we go.
Like a localized Twitch feed or something?
Yeah.
I know that Microsoft, obviously they have the Mixer thing. I mean, that's probably the closest thing that you could possibly get to something like that, where like you might be able to go into the settings of Mixer and then just have like a private invitation only password or whatever it is.
I got to look into that because every time I've launched Mixer with a game, it's like, it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
Like and then with Twitch, you got to have to constantly look back and forth like, okay, who's dude talking to me? Okay, back to the game. Okay, who's talking to me? He's back to the game. Sort of thing. But yeah, more of a localized, you know, party chat type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I did mess around with the new Xbox avatar system. Have you messed around with this?
I haven't, but I noticed you had.
Did you see anything on my account from it?
No.
Okay. I am disappointed in the updated Xbox avatar system. The characters are just plain ugly looking. I mean, just weird, disproportioned, ugly, like just... I literally thumbed through all the different variations of them. I went through all the stuff. I created an updated character of myself, but it doesn't feel as close to me as my avatar for the Xbox 360 did.
Or your Memoji.
Yeah. It's just crazy because I mean, they've been developing this thing for years, and it's like, this is what you came up with. I mean, I would be curious to see what you think if you ever sit down and start to kind of mess with it. And I'd be curious about what our listeners think, of those of you who own an Xbox and have messed with this thing. But I personally, I mean, I look at it, it's like, okay, the character I finally was able to put together is okay. But I didn't nearly have kind of the charmed excitement that I did after I finished making my initial avatar on the Xbox 360. And it's just, I think it's an art direction issue with just how the characters look overall. I mean, they just look bizarre.
Well, with the Xbox 360, it was more of a thing. I mean, when you saw your buddies online, you saw how they wanted to decorate their avatars, and all their avatars look kind of similar to them anyway.
Right.
But for the Xbox One, avatars are kind of like a passe thing. Like no one's looking at anybody's avatar. They're looking at the dashboard because there's so much more happening on the dashboard on the Xbox One than on the Xbox 360.
But the avatar thing was always a missing item. Like everyone I talked to commented on how they wish the avatar system came along with the Xbox One UI, because that was such a beloved thing in the Xbox 360 dashboard. Was just, it helped you to personalize your particular dashboard. And it was just fun to see, like when you went into your friends list and like people who were signed off, they were sleeping. And then ones who were online, they had these fun little animations. And then sometimes you'd have certain people update their animations or get new outfits or whatever. It was just a fun little thing that just kind of reinforced the sense of community. And I was really surprised too. And I remember back before the Xbox One was released, I was actually working on the Verizon Fios mobile app for the system. So I got early access. I got a dev kit, and I was like going through, designing the UI for this particular app. And I was really shocked to see that like there was no presence of avatar whatsoever. And they continue on down that road. And I think it speaks volumes that now they're starting to bring it back, because I think there has been just such a demand for it. People have been really requesting it consistently.
I think you should put an emoji of yourself on our Facebook page.
I might just do that. I think that's a good idea, Steve. Perhaps in the next couple of days, I'll give it a whirl.
There you go.
Finally, I have bought Forza Horizon 4, and don't think that I have given up on Forza Horizon 3, because I was looking at my achievements actually recently, and there is a ton that I still have to get through on that game on my particular
There is.
go-through.
And I remember I got half the achievements for you.
You did?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Forza Horizon 3 is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think, Steve?
Oh, yeah, I did.
I think it's one of the best racing games out there, period.
I concur.
Now, what's interesting about Forza Horizon 4 is there is kind of still that same vibe that we got from Forza Horizon 3, but it's not the same. It is noticeably a bit different, which, on the one hand, it's okay because it's no longer in Australia. It's in London, and you have a different persona with that particular area. I have only raced in a couple of different types of events. Still gorgeous. Still love the game, everything else. But I'm curious to see like what my reaction will be as I continue playing along through it. But they did adopt a lot of the sensibilities from the previous title. That's about all that's new with me, Steve.
Well, okay then. How about we get into some movie news, right?
Well, Steve, we're not going to do that because we're going to instead just find our way right into our topic of the day. That's right. Oh my goodness.
We didn't have any game news or anything, right? I mean, I can't think of a few items.
I'm holding off, Steve, until next week for some gaming news and movie news segments, simply because I have just, like I said, finished up being deathly ill. So I'm just easing myself back into this. I don't want to, go full tilt, guns a-blazing. I hope you can forgive me for that, Steve.
No, I can't. Well, I was looking forward to talking to some stuff about with you tonight.
Well, just hold on to that. Use it. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah, okay.
Now that I'm thinking about it, before we get into the topic of the day, Steve, I, for one, would like to hear about this latest segment that we're going to be introducing to the listeners, which has to do with the... what should we call it?
Well, let's call them pop culture birthday.
Pop culture? No. What should we call
this
it?
is such a great part of the show.
Should we call it like days that will live in infamy?
No.
Well, we'll come up with a name for it later on. But
terrible.
essentially, this is a new little quick segment that we thought would be fun for all of you, where good old Uncle Steve is going to actually talk about certain dates that have transpired. So this past week, we've had a certain amount of days go by, and he is going to present to you about certain significant dates that were the same dates, but just in different years in the past that have to do with certain big games and movies that got released. Steve, go ahead.
Russ, cue the music.
Well, let me see what I got over here, Steve. How about this one?
That's perfect, Russ. Make it drop.
You're going to wait for the drop.
Okay, forget it. I'll just go with it. All right, whatever.
Oh, where? Oh, there you go, Steve.
What? Okay. This week in movie and video game history, Russ. I'm going to be brief. So, have you ever seen the movie Lost in Translation?
I have.
You know how old it is?
I would say it's probably about 10 years old.
Close. Not really. 15.
15.
15 years old, Russ.
Wow.
And nobody still knows what Bill Murray said to Scarlett Johansson when he whispered in her ear and then smooched her. That smooch wasn't scripted, by the way. Lucky for Bill.
And what day did that come out, Steve?
Well, I didn't. Let's see. It was October 3rd.
October 3rd. And what year was it precisely? 15 years ago was what?
What was that?
Carry the one.
Was it 2003? Something? I don't even know. So anyway, let's see. School of Rock.
School of Rock. All right. That's a classic.
Remember who starred in that one, Russ?
Jack Black.
That's right. I have it.
I like it. Very nice.
Anyway, those were really... Oh, you know what? You remember the movie? I never saw this one all the way through.
Hold it. What day did School of Rock debut?
October 2nd.
October 2nd. And what year?
You know what?
Your note-taking sucks.
Well, we didn't really go over the details, Russ. You just said, hey, why don't you just say what movies and stuff came out? Okay.
All right. Moving forward. We need to have the day and the year that it came out. Continue.
That's great, Russ. Thanks. Good communication. Anyway, Ants turned 20 on October 2nd.
Oh, my goodness.
You watched Ants. I haven't, but I know you'd like that one.
I like A Bug's Life more.
I know you do. I like Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, I know you do.
Now, here's one I don't think you've seen. This is one of John Candy's last films, Russ.
Cool Runnings?
That's right.
Oh, I've not seen that.
I've seen it. It's okay. It's kind of a family film. You know, that turns 25 from the first.
Oh, October 1st. So 25 years. Yeah, my math is not too good. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, now here's a doozy for you. Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, that is a pop culture classic right there.
Turns 50.
50 years old.
That's right.
My goodness.
Night of the Living Dead is having a midlife crisis.
And what day did that come out?
Also October 1st.
Oh, very nice.
Right in line for Halloween.
Oh.
Well, actually not right in line, but for the month of Halloween. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
So that means it came out in 1968.
There you go.
Wow.
Let's see. For your video games, Russ, some games of note here. Super Mario Dos.
For the NES?
Turned 30.
Turned 30 years old. And what day did it come out?
That was on the 6th.
So that means in 1988, Super Mario 2 came out.
That's right.
Man.
Shining Force 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one right there. Turns 25.
25.
Wait.
What day did it come out?
That was the 3rd.
October 3rd. So that goes right into 1993. Shining Force 2.
There you go. And let's see. Video game adaptation of Last Action Hero.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. We got Boxing Legends of the Ring.
I don't think I ever played that one.
I didn't either, but a lot of my buddies did. I remember them talking about it.
What day did that come out?
A lot of them came out like on the 3rd and the 6th. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
Whatever. Also, Bram Stoker's Dracula with the Halloween theme.
Was that for the Sega CD?
That was multiple platforms. That was for the Sega CD. That was for the PC. That was for Nintendo.
I remember they had multiple versions of it. I remember playing the Sega CD one. I love that.
Yeah, the Sega CD version only had the full motion video. None of the other ones could do it.
And the CD quality audio.
That's right.
And they had some moments where it was scripted, but some of the environments had kind of a pseudo 3D moments where you kind of make a turn.
Like a turn, like a stage turn, yeah.
Yeah. And what year did that come out?
I don't have the year. I didn't put the year on.
How about the day?
No, Russ.
Okay.
All these will happen within the week. I don't think it's within the week, Russ.
Okay. Moving forward, we'll have the days for you specifically.
Ridge Racer Arcade. Like the actual Ridge Racer Arcade.
My goodness.
Came out. And this one's for you because we played it over Thanksgiving, but it came out in October. Joe Montana and NFL football.
I have a very special place in my heart for Joe Montana football. Now, was it the first one for the Sega Genesis?
So the Sega CD.
Oh, the Sega CD?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have any date information on that one or not?
You keep asking me that, Russ.
Well, because sometimes you do. You have some of the dates and other times you don't. So I'm just making sure.
All the last ones I've been saying all turned 25.
All turned 25?
They all turned 25 this week.
Interessante. So that makes sense because it would have come out around the early 90s, 1993.
Now, I don't think you and I ever played this. I know I definitely didn't, but Medieval.
I think I did.
For PS1.
Yeah.
That one turns 20 in addition to Fallout 2.
Ah, yes. Fallout 2. That was a game I still have not beaten. But you bought it for me. Right?
Did I?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2, yeah.
Yeah, Fallout 2.
Yeah, you gave up on Half-Life 2. That's collecting dust right now.
Yeah.
And that's all she wrote.
Well, thank you, Steve. I'm glad we were able to kick this off in a matter of sorts. And, you know, just like anything that gets kicked off, you know, there are a couple little bugs here and there, but we'll have the patches ready for you on the next episode. Anyway, back to the topic of the day at hand. So we're going to be talking about the latest Sea of Thieves DLC pack called Forsaken Shores, which got dropped, I want to say 2 weeks ago. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's start off with you. What are your impressions of it?
Well, here's the thing, Russ. So I do find it exciting. However, as with pretty much everything else in Sea of Thieves, the excitement has an expiration date. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna visit the islands, you're gonna do everything there is to do, and then it's just gonna be part of the map. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's I know this is kind of a long shot, but you know, had they been dropping a lot of this stuff off sooner, they could be developing more within the map itself. Now they're just going, okay, here's Forsaken Shores, and you're going, okay, I'll play it for a couple weeks and earn a bunch of loot and credit and whatever. And then after that, you're like, okay, yeah, I've seen it and I've played it.
Yeah. Yeah, my impression of it is pretty much in line with yours. I think that every time that there is a DLC drop that Rare does, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in there, but I can't shake the feeling of how I know that once I've done most or all of what there is to do, and then I'm back to square one again in terms of, okay, now what else are we going to do? And really the only thing that has kind of an ongoing grind is just trying to get to legendary pirate status. I mean, I have been playing other games like Spider-Man, for instance, so I've given Sea of Thieves kind of a long break. And now I'm back into it again. It's fun, that sort of thing, to be back in the world. But at the same time, that is literally the only thing that is kind of a motivating or driving force to continue playing the game, because there are only so many times that you want to look for a map and dig up treasure, or you're fighting skeletons and that sort of thing. Or, you know, the merchant stuff is just so annoying. I mean, like it's at first it was charming, and now it's just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get to level 50 with the Merchant Alliance, because it's just trying to get those animals is I don't know, it's not one of my favorite things to do. The Forsaken Shores, though, I really do appreciate. Let's go ahead and segue into some of the things that make it unique. So I like how they made the environment something to be reckoned with. I think that's kind of a universal appreciation that the gamers really do enjoy, is when you get into this area of the Forsaken Shores, you have volcanoes that are erupting, and that means that like your ship could be decimated on the water. You have to take evasive action at times, and then you also have to be really methodical in terms of when you're going to come back to a particular island that you're trying to find riches on, that sort of thing. I also like too how once one of the volcanoes erupts, how the water that surrounds that particular island apparently gets super hot and can injure you if you get into the water. I think that's a well thought out thing. Have you actually been burned?
I have. And with this last time that we played, when the volcanoes are punching holes in our boat, and I was scooping all the water out, I got burned with that too.
Really?
So the boiling water gets in your boat, and then we try and
see, that's
scoop
cool.
it out. It still hurts you.
I like that.
I like that.
And of course, when you're on the islands, you have some geysers that will all of a sudden explode from the ground. I really like that too. I just think that it's neat to be able to have the environment be more deadly. And it's crazy because when you've been there for quite some time and then you leave and you go toward more of the older parts of the world, suddenly they become almost like paradise.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, they've taken a lot of the atmosphere. Different areas of the map have different looks to them. You know, with like the wildlands and whatnot. And then you go over to the Forsaken Shores, and it looks very dark because of all the smoke and ash and soot in the sky and whatnot. It's more perilous. And so, when you leave and you go towards like the westmost part of the map, you're like, oh, the tranquil waters. Oh, this is so nice. But it almost seems boring at the same time because you're just sailing around like nothing's going to hurt you. You're like, all right, well, I kind of like the excitement.
I completely agree. I think
you want a little excitement. I'm sorry.
I think that it's cool that there are different parts of the map. I mean, there are certain parts where the water and the skies and stuff get darker, and there's kind of more of a moody, foreboding kind of feel to it, and that's cool. And then you have other parts that feel much more just tropical and happy, for lack of a better word of describing it. But I really do also like the Forsaken Shores in the sense that you have more of that sense of danger that's with the environments. And I think what's interesting too is that the amount of time that we have put in, which we've put in a fair amount of time into this, I have really not seen ships attacking each other in the Forsaken Shores area.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen very many ships at all in the Forsaken Shores area. That's the thing too. I see a sloop every once in a while.
I've seen, on certain playthroughs, like I'll see a few ships, but they're sloops and galleons, but everyone's kind of minding their own business, and it may just because it's a new addition to the world, but also too, I think there might be a dynamic there at play where because there is so much going on with the environment that you have to be mindful of and be careful of, you may not want to find yourself in a compromising position. Just a thought.
It's very true, Russ.
What do you think of the graphics of Forsaken Shores?
I think it fits in with the whole rest of the game. I think that they could have done a little bit more with it. I mean, I would like to go underneath the water, for example, and see like some underwater volcano.
That'd be sweet.
Or see, find some skeleton down there that you were supposed to get some doubloons from.
Sure.
Whatnot. And see all the bubbles and stuff with the lava coming out and the hot and cold water, the temperatures and whatever. I think that would have been neat. And see, we're still spending a whole lot of time on land.
Right.
And you have all this undersea that is totally not even being touched.
Yeah.
The only thing you can really tell is, once in a while they had those mermaid statues that you would get some doubloons from. Fine, but where's the rest of the life? Like if you go, okay, you need to go in this uncharted area, which is just water, and you need to dive down, hold your breath, and find something down there that leaves your ship exposed. And you got a time because you can only hold your breath for so long, but you got to go searching underwater. I mean, they have a whole different world down there that they could explore.
There is just a tremendous amount of opportunity within the game that they can just continue to add to, and it's, I don't know, like it almost makes me wish that they had maybe like another couple of years to develop the game and just have more of that already included, because again, it's the same type of issue that we've talked about.
Right.
Ever since the game was launched, which is just that it's the developers are in this constant race against the clock to be able to drop new content simply because the content that they have in there has an expiration date of sorts in the sense of player interest.
Right.
So, I think that there's a lot that they can still do. I know that they have more DLC that is planned. I'm looking forward to the pets and that sort of thing. What are your thoughts on the addition of the rowboat?
I like the rowboat. I think it's fun. I think that sometimes when you're wanting to explore different islands and see if you spot something on the beach that you want to go get, but the whole team wants to continue moving forward with the voyage, you can just take the rowboat and go over there. And it might take some time to get back to where you're going, but you could still get there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just being one-on-one, just one boat, one dude, no cannons. The waves seem a whole lot bigger. I've seen people like get airborne in this rowboat. And you can store stuff in it.
One thing that just came to mind I wish that they were somehow able to do is to actually put like just one cannon on the rowboat.
I know. I thought about that. Yeah, I definitely thought that would be cool. Even if it was like a miniature cannon or something.
Yeah.
That'd be neat. But I don't know. It's got a shelf life to it, I think.
Sure.
But it was fun. Like, you're like, oh, I'm in a rowboat. And you got like two burly, odd, quirky looking pirates staring at you like you're trying to row somewhere,
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's got its humor and it's got its function too. Like I said, you can, you don't have to just get supplies and then get a mermaid because you can't carry anything with you back to the boat. Now you can.
Right.
So I think that solves that issue.
Yeah, it is nice to be able to think about how if you're able to find certain treasure chests or other riches, instead of like just floating in the water, you can put it in the rowboat and then try and make it back to the main ship that you have. I am curious to see if Rare is going to introduce fishing in the game. I would love to do fishing in the game. I think that would be an ongoing thing that gamers would have a lot of fun with, especially if they do the whole fish part right, where like, if you're fishing and just the gameplay mechanic of having your fishing rod kind of go up and down and you're trying to reel it in, that sort of thing. And then based on what you get, just how funny the fish could look.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not even fish at all. Maybe they're turtles or it's like an electric eel or,
giant crab.
Literally it turns into kind of one of those fun, like Pandora's box, Acme factory box kind of things where you don't know what you're going to pull up from the water. That's a lot. That's a lot of fun. And especially I would love to do that in a rowboat. I would love to be able to just be in a rowboat in the middle of the ocean. And then of course, maybe have different aquatic life based on which part of the map that you're in. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I also think that being able to somehow integrate the Megalodon into something like that would just be so amazing. Being able to also have a photo mode where you can take pictures. I think that'd be awesome. Like based on, real life, when people go fishing, they like to take pictures of what they caught. They're standing next to it and stuff. There is a lot.
Or if they put it, it's like, let's say you're on the server, right? And you're playing the game and you catch something and you catch it really big, you take a picture of it. And then later on, I happen to be on the same server, but it doesn't even really matter. Like I could be on anybody's server, right? But if you go in the tavern and that like the latest big catch.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant, dude.
The tavern, you
just have it be on the walls. Yeah. See, that's a great idea. Like that would be something that would be fantastic for Rare to listen to and consider because again, you're building your community by that. And especially like if you had a little plaque that has like the gamer's name.
Right.
You could somehow build some like fisherman notoriety within Sea of Thieves and that would just be brilliant. Yeah. It would just be the coolest thing. And so, yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to be going down that road and exploring it or not. I really like the graphics, going back to the graphics of the Forsaken Shores portion. Really love all the glowing embers, the glowing crystals that are kind of just jettisoning out from the boulders. I love the colors of everything, how just ashy it is. And just it just is not a person-friendly environment, which is just, it's really cool. It's a nice departure from what we have seen in the other parts of the world. I also like the treasure chests. Also some of the accessories that you're able to get. Like for instance, if you go up to, I always forget the guy's name, but it's the bilge rat dude that's in the taverns that you can always talk to. Like,
yeah.
I don't know his name. His name's Duke. Is that?
I think it's Duke. Yeah.
Anyway, he now sells certain types of Forsaken-oriented items that you have to purchase with doubloons, which for me personally, I'm saving my doubloons because I want to be able to actually level up my character. And I'm curious to see if some of those items have a time limit on them where like if a month goes by, maybe Rare will take some of those down. And so then that becomes more of an exclusive item for those who did actually use some of their doubloons to purchase it. Which I can see. That'd be cool to have like as a bragging rights thing. But there are a lot of things that are cool. I really dig the skins for the ships. In fact, I finally bought my very first skin last night when you and I were playing. I just love it. I think it's great. It's the crab one. I don't even know what the correct name of it is, but just love the color pattern. Love the figurehead on the front of the ship. And so it's fun to be able to see some of the others. Our friends have already purchased the Kraken one as well as the Forsaken skins from Duke as well, which both look fantastic. They did a really nice job with it. And of course they have like the weapons and that sort of thing that can be purchased as well that have kind of that going theme.
Right.
And that's something that they've done with the previous DLC packs as well.
They fixed the the little bug that, well, I don't, it wasn't really a bug. I think it was intended, but the for the inventory. So when you went to go to a barrel to load back up on your cannonballs and your fruit and your planks and whatnot, you don't have to hit the button a ton of times to get it out, and you just hit it once and you're done, and that's it.
Yeah. No, so when they had updated the UI initially, I hated it. I thought that it was just not conducive at all to a game like this, which by and large is an adventure game, but you have times when it's straight up action. Like you have to be able to access your items very quickly, whether it's having to get planks to patch up your boat while it's sinking, or if you're under attack and you need more cannonballs, or you need more health and you need bananas. Like just the amount of clicks needed to get to those different items was just ridiculous. And also having to like swap back and forth between these two inventory menus was just... They've made a big step in the right direction with the fixes that you're talking about for this latest DLC. I mean, I love going up to a barrel instead of having to like hit the X button 5 times to collect 5 planks. I just click it once and it just collects everything from that barrel. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are anything else that they had fixed within the UI itself when you go into the inventory. There is something that's kind of funky. One thing that comes to mind are the cursed cannonballs that you get. The only way that we know how to actually access those to place them into the cannons is you have to pause the game and then go to like, I don't know what
your inventory.
Your inventory, and then literally select which cursed cannonball you want, and then put it into the cannon. I think that is a flawed approach. I think that there needs to be a more streamlined way of doing so. Like, for instance, something as simple as like, where you store your normal cannonballs on the ship. When you go to those barrels, that inventory screen itself should be able to house the normal cannonballs and the different types of cursed cannonballs. So that way you can just quickly grab what you need and then be able to, like, within your wheelhouse, when you click the right bumper, be able to easily access the different types of cannonballs.
You can still do that, Russ.
I couldn't get it to work.
So yeah, you can store. So you have your inventory screen with all the open holes and everything. You can store stuff, and then you go to the barrel, and the barrel has its own little inventory. You can just stuff it and whatever in there. But you can, yeah. And I've stuffed all the different cursed cannonballs along with the regular. Excuse me. the regular cannonballs in there, and you just pick whichever one you want. The inventory that you're talking about is like the resource inventory where, okay, you have a little turn wheel with all your stuff.
Yep.
And then in case you want to make the other crew vomit compulsively, you have to go to your resource menu and then grab that ball and then put it in there. Kind of makes you slow down a little bit, like, oh, I really need to aim this shot because I only have one of these things, you know.
Right, yep.
And you don't want to... I mean, I guess it would be the same amount of time if you had to access the menu wheel and then hit another button to access a different wheel. Maybe the same amount of time, I don't know. But you definitely won't make the mistake of loading the wrong cannonball in there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I guess for me, because the cursed cannonballs are more rare, they're not as prevalent as the normal cannonballs. I think I would like there to be within, when you hold down the right bumper and it brings up kind of like that wheel UI that each pirate has. I think I'd like there to be kind of like a more menu or something where, like, if you have multiple cannonballs, you can just choose what between, do you want a regular cannonball or do you want a cursed cannonball? If you do want a cursed cannonball, I mean, they have like 5 different cursed cannonballs you can choose from. I just think that for me personally, I prefer to hold on to those cursed cannonballs in my personal inventory, not the ship's inventory, and then be able to quickly access them when I need to load a cannon. I think that's where I would like to see them kind of tweak it a bit. Did you have any other thoughts about the DLC, Steve?
Well, I think...
Excuse me.
Yeah. So I'm contagious already. So they stick the quest, the message in a bottle quests, and barrels now also.
They are everywhere now.
Yeah, they're everywhere. So it kind of... I mean, at first I thought, well, this is kind of cool. They're a lot more prevalent. But then I thought, well, they're not as exciting then because, finding it sitting there on the beach, you're like, ooh, I found something. And now you're like, oh, yeah, another one? Huh? Should we do this one? I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. Well, there's bottles everywhere. I'm going to cut my foot. So, yeah, there's that. But, I like how, like, there's obsidian rocks and stuff, like with the lights that like glitters on them. Because sometimes it gives you the illusion that there's something there, but there's not something there.
Right.
I like the different looking artifacts that you can find, the different looking skulls, the different looking treasure chests, because that is the change up that they needed. Because otherwise, you're going up another castaway's chest, another seafarer's chest. Okay, same one that before, no difference.
Yeah.
But it just needs to be more. Not just all this long time wait and then a DLC and then it's the same thing for like 3 or 4 months and then another DLC. I will say that I am thankful this is not like a purchasable DLC and it's all free.
Yeah.
Because if it was purchasable, I mean, that would kill it.
What levels are you in the different, like the Gold Hoarders, the Order of Souls, and the Merchant Alliance? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, I'm like 41, I think, in the Gold Hoarders and the Order of Souls.
Nice.
But I think for the Merchant Alliance, I'm like 35 or 36.
Yeah, you're ahead of me in all accounts. I am level 39 in Gold Hoarders. I'm level 37 in Order of Souls, and I'm 32 in Merchant Alliance. So
you got to get those banana crates, Russ.
Right, you are. But again, I think you've been playing it more just because I've taken a break from it in order to play some of these other games. And so Bob's your uncle and you're home in time for tea. I think overall, though, in conclusion, though, I do really like the DLC pack. I've always liked all of the DLC packs for this game. And like just everyone that comes out, it's like, oh, this is cool. I dig this. I want to see more of this, that sort of thing. And I look forward to seeing what else they drop. I am definitely looking forward to the pets. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. But just like what we said, I think that this game will forever have that problem of trying to stay ahead of the game in terms of maintaining player interest. And so it'll just be, I'm not going to let that ruin my experience by any stretch. I mean, I think that the game is still really fun to play. I mean, it is just an enjoyable game to be able to come on with you and just sail the high seas and just go and just do fun stuff. I mean, I think that there at its core, there is something that's very addicting, very fun to do, and it's unique unto itself.
I think they didn't have a new enemy also. I'm thinking like some sort of underwater enemy.
Totally agree.
I mean, not like the Megalodon and sharks and stuff, but...
there are only so many skeletons that you can fight before you're like, really?
Yeah,
is this all that we have in this world?
Yeah, but it'd be interesting if like... Remember from Pirates of the Caribbean, how some of those pirates looked? When they had like tentacles and stuff,
sure.
and like coral growing on or whatever. I mean, that would be kind of neat to fight also. A nice addition to just fighting endless skeletons. I mean, they have random skeletons, but they're all just still...
They're just still skeletons. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it would be fun, to your point, I mean, just in Dead Man's Chest... You had the introduction of Davy Jones, and you had his crew, and his crew were just half man, half sea creature, which was really cool. It's like a new kind of look, but totally agree, Steve.
Thank you. Or evil mermaids.
Again, that's another great idea. Having mermaids that exist in the game. I don't know if they're gonna if they were evil. Maybe some are evil. Maybe some help you. I don't know. But there's just there are so many different things that they could explore and do in this game. That I think one of the things that holds them back is just their developer team is only so big and they can only handle so many things at once. I mean, if they were able to expand to 3 or 5 times the size of where they are now, then they'd be able to crank out a whole lot more stuff, but they're just not at that level right now.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up this particular episode of Joygasm. Make sure you tune in next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this episode, we invite you to check out patreon.com/Joygasm for exclusive access to the show. Also, you can follow us on social media and YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. In addition to iTunes and Android, you can listen to our podcast on TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spotify, and SoundCloud.com/Joygasm TV. Last but not least, search Joygasm TV on Twitch to see us stream our gaming adventures live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll see you next week.
Stay healthy.